Engineering requires many building blocks and tools. To produce real-world results, one must practically apply mathematics and sciences to tangible problems and scenarios. Included in this category are the various technical topics which cut across engineering disciplines, encompassing many branches of mathematics and scientific disciplines. If you live in a city, you may take your skyline for granted, but let me remind you how cool it is. Skyscrapers are amazing feats of engineering and a testament to humankind's progress. What's more, skylines offer an array of architectural styles, as cities certainly weren't built in a day. Cancer is most treatable when caught early. But despite the vast resources aimed at finding ways to detect the disease in its initial stages, many people who qualify for existing screenings still do not receive them. Some are unfamiliar with the constantly evolving guidelines on when and where to get tested. Others have never been informed that they need exams in the first place. Relatively soon, some prominent astrobiologists say we will most likely have either found compelling evidence for extraterrestrial life or banished its possible existence to the ever-shrinking edges of the cosmos beyond the rapidly expanding reach of our observations. Such answers could come by the end of the 2030s from any of a number of initiatives ardently seeking alien life. Much of the research in this field, known as cancer immunotherapy, has focused on finding ways to stimulate those T cells directly. MIT researchers have now uncovered a possible new way to indirectly activate those T cells. In recent years, scientists have created music based on the structure of proteins as a creative way to better popularize science to the general public, but the resulting songs haven't always been pleasant to the ear. In a new study, researchers used the style of existing music genres to guide the structure of protein song to make it more musical. If you're putting together a team for a project, you might be inclined to pick people with cheerful, optimistic dispositions and flexible thinking. But a new management study indicates your team might also benefit from people who are exactly the opposite. City planners predict that as more people move into urban areas, traffic jams will get worse. That's why sustainability experts propose a new way to analyze traffic congestion, using more precise measures to describe the shape of cities and considering other socio-economic factors. A new study found that while a beauty premium exists across professions, it's partially because attractive people develop distinct traits as a result of how the world responds to their attractiveness. They build a greater sense of power and have more opportunities to improve nonverbal communication skills throughout their lives. Each year, the UN publishes a report evaluating the gap between the latest climate pledges and the Paris Agreement's goals. It concludes that the world is falling short. This year's report finds that the updated pledges would probably result in warming of around 2.7 How would you feel about a new therapy for your chronic pain, which, although far more effective than any available alternative, might also change your religious beliefs? Or a treatment for lymphoma that brings 1 in 3 patients into remission, but also made them more likely to vote for your least preferred political party? A measure of how unevenly income is distributed through a population has long been associated with a host of health and social problems, including mental health issues, lack of trust, higher rates of imprisonment, and lower rates of social mobility. It may also affect academic achievement through various routes. The egg shape has long attracted the attention of mathematicians and biologists from an analytical point of view. The shape has been highly regarded for its evolution as large enough to incubate an embryo, small enough to exit the body in the most efficient way. Residential density is related to children's motor skills, engagement in outdoor play, and organized sports. Finnish children living in the countryside spent more time outdoors and had better motor skills than their age peers in the metropolitan area. The whole point of paraphrasing is to show you have read and understood another person's ideas and can summarize them in your own writing style rather than borrowing their phrases. If you just change a few words or add some bits of your own to an otherwise reproduced passage, you will probably be penalized for plagiarism. Despite a number of events in recent years devoted to language diversity, language endangerment, and multilingualism, such as the International Year of Languages, public awareness of the issues is still remarkably limited. The advantage of the great European and American orchestras is that they were able to establish their iconic status in an age when their identity could become entrenched, there was less competition and it was easier to create a brand. Not only did they have the best halls, they attracted the best musicians, who tended to stay put. Extroverts tend to move quickly and try to influence situations directly, while introverts give themselves time to develop their insights before exposing them to the world. Extroverts are happy making decisions in the thick of events, while introverts want to reflect before taking actions. Hydropower is one of the renewable energies. In the past, hydropower was used for simple purposes by building a water wheel on a watercourse and using it to drive a mill or machine. Today this is how it works. The kinetic energy of the flowing water is converted into the mechanical energy of the turbine, which is converted into electrical energy, or electricity for short, in a generator. The American Cancer Society recommends following a healthy eating pattern for all ages. A new school year is a perfect time to try some healthier options for your child. Whether you're packing a lunch box or making lunch at the kitchen counter, you can ensure they're eating healthy food that tastes good. The Spanish language has a rich and complicated history. It has navigated the rise and fall of great empires, has been a symbol of cultural identity, and has both been used as a tool of unity and caused considerable divisiveness. Today, it is the world's second most spoken native language and is used by people in all corners of the globe. If a single medical objective could be applied to the entire range of cancers, it would be detecting the disease as soon as possible. At the highest level, finding any cancer early gives you the opportunity for curative treatments, says the CEO of a research funding organization. A diamond that formed deep in the Earth's mantle contains a mineral never seen before in nature. The discovery is a rare glimpse into the deep mantle and may help reveal new information about the structure of the planet at depths of more than 660 kilometers. This can help geologists better understand how the mantle controls the Earth's plate tectonics. Every metric ton of carbon dioxide humans emit comes at a cost not only in terms of the financial toll of the damage wrought by floods, heat waves, and droughts but also the price in human lives. Substantially curtailing emissions today could prevent tens of millions of premature deaths over the course of the century. When learning a foreign language, most people fall back on traditional methods: reading, writing, listening, and repeating. But if you also gesture with your arms while studying, you can remember the vocabulary better, even months later. Linking a word to brain areas responsible for movement strengthens the memory of its meaning. Many scholars attribute the 17th century belief that animals were mere machines devoid of fear, pain or pleasure to the French mathematician, philosopher and scientist. Animals' feelings, even if present, were morally irrelevant to Descartes, who attempted to prove his point by subjecting dogs and rabbits to exquisite torture. After the coldest night in South Florida in a decade, lizards were dropping out of palm trees, landing legs up. The scientists who raced to investigate the fallen reptiles have now found that, despite such graceless falls, some of these tropical, cold-blooded creatures are actually more resilient to cold than previously thought. Flooding is already the most common natural disaster in the United States, occurring in every state and killing more people each year than hurricanes, tornadoes or lightning. As warming drives sea levels higher and intensifies hurricanes, more residents should expect to deal with flooding. Scientists already knew that the output of a single wind turbine could be improved with a windbreak. While windbreaks slow wind speed close to the ground, above the height of the windbreak, wind speeds actually increase as air rushes over the top. But for large wind farms, there's a drawback. To bridge gaps between teams, one tactic is to set aside more of the office to showcase the work of each department so that people who never encounter each other on Zoom can see examples of what their colleagues do. Another option is to play everyone with drink. Expect more space to be set aside for socializing and events.